So this is Massive, the world's largest cruiserweight, and you're watching and listening to Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm out.
What's up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast, straight live from San Antonio, where in January you can wear shorts for a day and you're still going to be freezing your ass off by the end of the week. I can't figure this weather out. I'm your host, JC. Joining me down here, we got Tommy. And we got Mike.
What's up? I'm Mike, and we are full steam ahead into 2022 Electric Boogaloo all year long. We'll see, maybe.
Hopefully that stays all year long, yes. We're going to be talking a lot about the latest two issues of Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine, one of which they hid away the PWI Tag Team 50 in it, and of course they had the year-end achievement awards. But want to first say this, guys, it's finally happening. AEW is coming to San Antonio for an episode of Dynamite. If you haven't heard by now, they just made the announcement today. On March 16th, Dynamite and Rampage will be filmed at the Freeman Coliseum. And then also a week later, we'll be back in Cedar Park, where they've been before, for Dynamite and Rampage. Tickets for both events go on sale January 28th. And I know there's a lot of people pretty excited to go. Tickets starting at $29. I haven't seen just how expensive they get, but I know we're planning to go. So definitely be getting tickets for that. And I wanted to start this off by saying how great is the Freeman Coliseum for wrestling? And how excited are you guys that it's going to be there?
It's awesome for wrestling because that's where I first went when they would do shows. I think one of the first ones I went to, well, there was a house show I went to, I know. My dad took me when I was real little. But another one people forget about is that San Antonio actually had a Survivor Series way back in '94, I think.
I was that one.
You too?
There.
Wow.
I was there too with a friend of mine. Who knew, Tommy? Who knew years down the road?
Yeah. My aunt actually took me to that. It's the very first event I ever went to. And I was like, I can't remember how old I was, but she took me to that because I was trying to remember. I was like, I saw the Undertaker Yokozuna live somewhere, and I couldn't remember where it was. So I scrolled through every San Antonio time, every time WWF came to San Antonio, and it was Survivor Series. I was like, no way, and I was like, wow. I was like,
it was a weird one.
Sitting, but not really. Yeah, it was a weird
one. There was Bret Hart losing to Backlund with Owen Hart throwing in the towel, or no, convincing his mom to throw in the towel as part of their continued feud. Chuck Norris as a special guest enforcer. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there was supposed to be a team of doinks, and instead it was Men on a Mission and the Bushwhackers or something like that, painted as, if I remember correctly, something like that.
So long ago.
Right. I think so.
But yeah, also, my one fun fact for the Freeman Coliseum, in Mick Foley's book, because one of the famous things for the Freeman Coliseum when it was holding Raws during the Attitude Era was it had the debut of Mick Foley as Dude Love to be Steve Austin's partner. In his first book, when he's recounting this, he calls it the Fremont Coliseum, and it made it past editing. And so I'm reading this thing going, the Fremont... Oh, Foley, come on, man. You had one job. Okay, you had a lot of jobs, but how could you get that
the editors
wrong?
would have vetted that, but hey, they're not going to ask questions.
You think you would have... Could you Google search back then when he was writing that book? I don't remember.
Yeah. Freeman was great. Go ahead.
Just reading, so it was a lot of doinks. I don't know if it was Men on the Mission though. It looks like they were just got a bunch of random guys just to be doinks.
I don't know if I'm remembering the one I was at or a Survivor Series before or after around the same time. Because I think there was also one with Shawn Michaels taking Jerry Lawler's place. I confuse a little bit of it. I remember a lot of it, and then there's a couple matches I kind of...
Yeah, I can't, because I think it knows what you're talking about. Well, no, because like the Doink one does have Jerry Lawler. He was in that one, so.
Yeah.
Maybe the one we saw was with the midgets. Was it Doink with the midgets? Like,
I think that might have been Dink the Clown. Yeah,
okay,
the
so then I
Dinks.
was confusing it with like another one the year before or after. Yeah.
Terry's in the chat saying for that show, he was actually third row across from hard cam, wearing the loudest Western shirt possible. He thought he was cool. All you've made me do...
now I gotta get that DVD.
Now I'm going on.
tape.
I'm gonna go on Peacock. I'm gonna go on Peacock and look for that. I'll probably be watching that tomorrow.
And speaking,
yeah.
And Terry's here. Quick, me out at the BOW show, wondering why I'm always lagging on the Geekcast. For the record, I had to change my internet setup, so I am lagging today, and I was hoping this would be the one show he wouldn't be watching, but damn it, this is the show he's live for. Crap.
Here, he said that like 5 seconds ago. Don't worry, he'll get back
Yeah,
to you.
we'll just get to it. Funny part is the last couple weeks it had been nice, but yeah, I guess you got a new setup. We'll figure all that out later. But yeah, March 16th. I've got so many memories of the Coliseum, and the one that always sticks out to me is Mike and I were there for Raw when they had a Hell in a Cell match on Raw.
Yeah.
And it was tag team Hell in a Cell. It was Steve Austin and Undertaker versus Kane and Mankind.
Right.
And that was so good because, Kane and Mankind came down. Paul Bearer was the manager. And Stone Cold's music hits and Undertaker's music hit. But Taker never came out. Nobody knew where the Undertaker was. So Kane and Mankind go and attack Steve Austin on the stage. Paul Bearer locks himself in the cell. And lo and behold, the Taker cuts himself through the ring and just starts beating up on Paul Bearer. It was so good. And I remember as Raw went off the air, you see Steve Austin climbing to the top of the cage to go beat down on Kane. And we saw the rest of that match. The rest of the crowd that's here on TV didn't. So many things. Sunday Night Heat. I think we saw a Lions Den match at one point too there.
I was just going to say, that was right? Yeah.
That was there. And so I'm very happy it's going to be at Freeman. I half expected. I didn't know for sure they were not going to go to AT&T Center because I don't know if you guys know, WWE tries to get some exclusive contracts with certain arenas around the country. AT&T Center is one of them. So a competing wrestling company cannot book a show there without WWE's permission, and they're obviously not going to give it.
Boo, County, boo.
I half expected them to do like an Illusions Theater type thing at the Alamo Dome, which wouldn't be bad. Honestly, you can get a good crowd of people there and go crazy. So, a la that one Nitro that Mike and I went to. So, yeah.
Yes. As long as. Good.
Lockdown? I think it was Lockdown. TNA did it for Lockdown.
Yeah.
They just sectioned off with like a giant chunk of that dome, but they sectioned it off. So.
Yeah, that was a great crowd too for Lockdown. I think I have expected it to be in the dome. I don't know. I can't recall if there's any like regionals or Final Four or something booked for the dome. And one thing I haven't checked now that it is at Freeman, are the Spurs playing in town that day? Because if so, parking's going to be a bitch. So let me check on that actually. So, but yeah, I'm very excited. It's Freeman. It seats only about 10,000, and it's going to be great. That crowds there are pretty nuts. This is a big wrestling town, so it's going to go insane. And tickets are probably going to go fast. Like I said, they go on sale the 28th of January, 10 a.m. Central Time. The Spurs do not have... Actually, they do have a home game that day. So...
They do.
They do against Oklahoma City, but they don't play till 7:30. So with doors opening at 5 at the Freeman, I plan to be there early. So yeah, that's going to be a fun time. But spring break, people. Spring break. Yeah.
Then again, I love the Spurs. Season hasn't been going that good. Might not be as crowded. Especially
Maybe
by March.
not, but I have to expect the Freeman crowd to be taking a lot of the parking that normally the Spurs fans would get. So,
yes, that's true.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they'll be trying to get us to park in the stables post rodeo, so it's going to smell like ass. But
nice.
that's it is what it is.
That's Puro San Antonio.
That
man.
is definitely Puro San
Welcome
Antonio.
AEW.
Terry also says he was there when Sean threw Marty through the barbershop window. So
was that in San Antonio?
I don't know. Maybe he just
Or
happened
is
to
he
be
just in
wherever he
a
was.
different place?
It might have been a different
I
place.
didn't know if that. I mean, I know that was probably filmed on. Because I went to a couple of those shows where they would film like weeks of stuff for Superstars and Wrestling Challenge the way it used to be. And if it is, that's cool. I didn't know that was actually if it was filmed in San Antonio. That'd
That
be
is
pretty
pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, just be ready. I'm sure tomorrow, AEWTix, T-I-X, AEWTIX.com will take you to directly link to where you can buy tickets. Like I said, they haven't put anything up yet as far as prices fully, just that it starts at $29. So, got to get my tax return in for sure. And that way we can pay it that way too as well. So, all right. Well, today we're going to be talking a whole PWI-esque episode, if you will. We meant to talk about this before, but things got busy, right? So
Yeah, a little bit.
a little bit, but it kind of worked out that we can, no pay-per-views this week, and we can chat a little bit about we'll start with the PWI Tag Team 50. Now, if you're wondering why wasn't there a big hoopla about the issue and the cover art, well, that's because they hid it away in this, and I have the graphic up for you guys to see on screen. There's actually a cover with Big E on the cover, talking mostly about how he's a big deal as WWE champion. And there's a little byline at the bottom. At the very bottom says, also inside our second annual Tag Team 50 ranking. So I thought you could be sneaky about it.
WWE, real big deal as a champion there, huh?
Yeah, it does suck. This issue, it's dated for February, and it's a really good interview about what it means for him to be the guy, how important it is to him, and then lo and behold.
Hey, Xavier Wood, hide your crown from Brock Lesnar. He's coming for the New Day trifecta.
As long as he doesn't take his job on G4, because he is killing it on G4.
I don't think Brock Lesnar plays
which
video
actually is weird because
except for like
Lesnar
Buck
hasn't
Hunter.
been in the ring before.
Yeah. So the Tag Team 50, second annual one. I'm glad they're keeping it at 50, and there's no like set thing as far as all men, all women. It's all mixed. The criteria pretty much the same as last year. Let me get that up for you guys actually here. So the 6 biggest things on the criteria: momentum, wins and losses, chemistry, creativity, activity, and the it factor. The evaluation period was November 1st, 2020 through Halloween of 2021. And you just had to have a minimum of 10 matches as a team or 6 matches in 6 separate months. Which I think we joked on here was the Brock Lesnar rule, right? Yeah. Or the Liger rule for a time as well. So, but yeah, this it's I gotta say it's kind of hard to argue with this list as well too. I'll just go ahead and name the top 10 for you guys. Number 10, Good Brothers. Number 9, Street Profits. Number 8, Suzuki Goon. Number 7, Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler. 6, MSK. 5, ALK. 4, the Usos, and I will note that they were the highest rated WWE tag team on this list. Number 3 was Dangerous Tekkers. Number 2 was the Lucha Bros, and number 1 was the Young Bucks. So, New Day, I should mention, was 11. Guerrilla's Destiny were 12. So there's a lot of notables here. Guys, just real quickly, I guess we can start with you, Tommy. I know you're got a little bit of New Japan representation up there at number 3, but your thoughts on the top 10 and really just on the list overall. So,
number 5 is who I'm happy about. That's because that's Julia and Syuri from Stardom.
yes.
So I was super excited that they were in top 5, as they should be. They did a really good job holding the tag titles in Stardom for them as long as they did. I think they just recently lost them. I think I'm right about that. But no, Dangerous Tekkers absolutely should have been number 3. Who beat Young Bucks beat them out, and the Lucha Brothers.
Lucha Brothers,
that's
yeah.
fair. That's about the only two. Those are about the only 2 teams I think should beat them out because, hey, actually, JC, I gotta admit, I was with you. Dangerous Tekkers had a hell of a year last year, and they could never repeat that success. So I mean, because I didn't think that team would be good. I really didn't see them working as a team. I didn't see myself liking them nowhere near as much as I did, but hell, they proved me wrong.
Mike, your thoughts on the list as well? So, what you see so far?
I think we mentioned this a little bit or maybe we mentioned it when we were just talking about ourselves. The 1 and 2 are a little interchangeable for me. I don't hate the Young Bucks by any means. I just feel like Lucha Bros really had a good year, and I know you got to, I guess, look at the exact time period of it. And I got to be honest, and let me preface this by saying I have no problem with women tag teams if they, have a good showing. I have no problem with the WWE tag team under the same guys. Nia and Shayna is just a weird one in the top 10 for me because I get that technically by the stories they had tons of momentum and wins over the period. But it was honestly something for me that went on way too long. Nothing about them was entertaining. I don't think they had that ick factor in the good way. Definitely didn't have chemistry, right? They were always about to break up. I don't know. I get that they were a prominent tag team over that time period. I didn't like the way they were used.
Or a constant toxic relationship.
Yeah. And I got to be honest, I'm a little surprised. It's something I kind of want to go back and look over what happened during the time period. Speaking of the top 10, I'm a little surprised that FTR is as far back as they are.
Let me see where they were. Where do they?
They're at 19.
19, yeah. And they were number 1 last year too. That's the crazy part. Yeah.
I think that's because they were feuding with them and Pinnacle were feuding with Inner Circle most of this past year.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like they had a lot of matches, and they always had good matches. I mean, it's FTR. Just a little surprising it was that far down. I mean, Street Profits.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usos, can't argue them either. Good Brothers, Again, I know they're Impact Tag Champions, and maybe I don't give them enough.
Was 16. Sorry, I just noticed that. Next stream, they're in All Japan.
Yes, the Nexus stream.
Holy crap, they were. That's high. Sorry.
Well, we mentioned FTR. Here's a little blurb on them. They were top ranked last year, as I mentioned, and they lost momentum after dropping the AEW Tech titles early in the evaluation period, but recently won the AAA Tag Team Championship from the Lucha Bros. Now, there's actually another part of this magazine. If you do pick it up, I highly recommend. Check it out, pwi-online.com. And they were looking at a section of it called Exodus to AEW. They were looking at some of the talents that had made the jump from another promotion into AEW because it seems to be all the rage, right? And they were evaluating real quickly whether their situation was better, worse, about the same, that sort of thing. And for FTR, they mentioned before they were in WWE, old school tag team in the classic mold. The former Revival never seemed comfortable, especially after leaving NXT. Despite notable in-ring success, they're unhappy with the company's approach to tag team wrestling and felt the home of the Young Bucks might be a better place for them. So the verdict, when they went to AEW, and they say the verdict, it's either worse, better, about the same. They originally had worse, and then they crossed it out and put better because they said after the tag team spent months in AEW tag limbo, we had them squarely in the worse off column. But just weeks before press time, Cash Wheeler, Dex Harwood upset the Lucha Bros for the AAA World Tag Belts, an opportunity that surely would never have gotten if they'd stayed with WWE. So for much of the evaluation period, they were kind of stuck in the middle, I guess you could say. That's the way they looked at it.
I'm gonna kind of disagree, especially considering what they tweeted out WWE wanted them to turn into, and you're telling me they're worse off. I don't know, man.
I at most I would have said they were in the middle for a while, but even that was pushing it. I would never say they were worse off because I felt like they were always a big deal whenever they were on screen.
Yeah,
treated like a big deal. That's
not
weird.
Gonna be honest. Putting Good Brothers ahead of them just doesn't feel right in my wrestling soul.
That really doesn't feel right. By the way,
a lot of that is championships. Like I said, the Good Brothers have been champs for most of the time. So yeah,
this is true.
Go ahead, Tommy.
I would like to point out that the Chaos is 28 and Chain Taylor Promotions is 47, and that I fiercely disagree with. Don't get me started, but I can if we want to. But top 20 at least.
That was a questionable one for me. You brought Shane Taylor Promotions. I was waiting for Tommy to see it. Shane Taylor, if you're watching, I know you got to chat with Tommy a bit over the weekend. I feel like they're looking at this, and then they're going to come out and be like number one next year or whatever. And there's going to be the memes of Shane Taylor looking at this magazine, seeing him on there, and there's the Jordan meme, and I took that personally, and they probably will, you know.
Yeah,
So,
legitimately. Yeah,
yeah,
like no lie.
yeah. So this is woke up a sleeping giant.
I do have a question, JC. Number 38, is it written Ziggler and Rude, or is it actually written Dirty Dogs?
Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because WWE never wants to call them that. Granted, I haven't watched it in a while. I don't know if they get TV time.
Yep.
But that is just the best tag team name.
I read that they do get TV time to an extent, but okay. So, how many times does Dolph Ziggler has to prove he can make anything work? I mean, I feel like he does it all the time. It's like,
well, I think Kevin Owens says it best. You was your time. You were the thing, and then you weren't.
Should have been me. Yeah. It should have been me. It should have been me.
It was you, and then it wasn't.
It was you kind of for a little bit. Then it wasn't. It's not gonna be again. Just get over it.
Yeah,
I think I was there for that one too. That was hilarious. Yeah.
It really almost hurts him that he's just so naturally good.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of in the vein of like a Cesaro as far as in the ring, or guys like Tyler Breeze. Like they're just so good. You put them anywhere, but I guess because of that, and I mean, he had his run, and it's like they never really want to fully go back to it, and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of sad, but he seems happy, I guess. I don't know.
Burns, you see in there what's going on, and Terry said he confirmed that the barbershop window thing was here in San Antonio, so he was there.
Nice. So, I did not know that.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's some great trivia.
Awesome. I think another one surprising that I guess I can mention this, like the ones I expect to see higher on the list next year. We mentioned Shane Taylor Promotions for sure, and it's no knock on Ring of Honor, but obviously with Ring of Honor's hiatus, Shane Taylor Promotions is going to be traveling. At least they should be. They got places to go, and I think they're going to make a name for themselves on the independents or until they get signed somewhere. But another one that I think is going to jump up on this list if things go right for them are the Briscoes. Number 42. Tag team champions for so many years in Ring of Honor, so many times. Obviously, the feud with FTR is going to elevate both of those tag teams, especially if and when they do show up in AEW. But where else the Briscoes can go? They there's plenty of places in this country they can go and make a name for themselves. But those are definitely the two teams that I see moving up. And then I know, Mike, there's a team not listed here, and it's only because
I was just thinking that in my head.
Yeah, there's one not listed here, and obviously during the evaluation period, there
was a big, say, 90 days that they weren't able to wrestle
90 plus days.
Right.
And then they finally made their debut pretty much either at the end of this evaluation period or right before. It was right before, like a week before it.
I guess you could say I just got a sudden inspiration of a team that needs to be in this top 50 next year. Current Impact Knockout
Couldn't
champions.
let that joke go, could you?
No, you never
No.
know. Yeah. So, Mike,
I mean, they're gonna rocket up this and make an iconic statement next year. How about that?
Okay, true or false? Will the Inspiration be the first female tag team to be number one on this list next year?
No, I hate this. I love them, and they're great. And I don't know. I don't mean this to come across sexist. With teams like Young Bucks, Lucha Bros, FTR, Jurassic Express picking it up, they would have to really do something that just really sets them apart. And they're good, and I like them, and they should definitely be high on this list. I just don't know if they can get to one. I don't mean that in any negative way toward either of them. I just don't know if the Inspiration would make the number one tag team of men and women. I don't know. That's just me.
You think they, obviously with the whole, we say in wrestling or just about anything, women seem to have to work harder for the same notoriety as men do. And it's no knock on Impact's women's tag team division. We said from the start, that's where they need to go because they have a legit women's tag team division. But obviously it's starting to develop a little more in AEW and some other places. Do you think they need to, in a way, jump, like wrestle in more than just Impact to make it really high on the list?
Maybe, but I mean, the thing is, like, Nia and Shayna, for instance, was just a team thrown together, and then WWE just gave them tons of momentum. They're not a great tag team. They were just and I mean, I know it's wrestling, so everyone's booked that way, but they don't have chemistry. They weren't a team. They just beat up people because they're kind of bruisers. I think they definitely have the ability to be the number one women's tag team in this list next year. Impact has some decent teams. AEW doesn't really have a lot of female tag teams either. They have a lot of kind of thrown together groups for women. They have a few. I do think it would help them to kind of get some competition outside of that, but outside of WWE, who is able to just put together women's tag teams on a whim because they don't actually care about women's tag team wrestling. I don't know where else they could go outside of Japan and Stardom and some of that stuff to kind of do that. I definitely think they have a shot to be the top women's team, though, next year in the top 50.
Okay. Tommy, looking at this, is there anyone that's like noticeably missing or somebody that's pretty low that you expect to be higher next year?
Aside from who I already mentioned, Team Sea Stars, I know them personally, so I will not like super close to them like that. But I hope they're higher next year. I hope they get more bookings on independents. Jurassic Express is absolutely going to be higher next year. There's no way they're not going to be. It's at this point, I God forbid injury might delay them. Sing, not that I can think of. Oh, you know what? 2.0 will be higher for sure. I think they just got in late, so they'll be higher. Pongi 3K is their traitor. Anyway, sorry, I'm not.
Might be the last year they appear on this thing too, man. So
because he's a traitor. And House of Torture better not be anywhere near this freaking list next year. I swear, I'm going to lose it if House of Torture is on this list next year. Traitors and backstabbers. That's what House of Torture is.
I do have to ask you about 26 though.
What's 26? You know what? I ignored 26. That's why I didn't even notice that was there.
For those wondering, that's Bullet Club's cutest tag team, El Fantasma and Taiji Ishimori. So
I hate that name. I hate it so much. It's. I don't know why that irks me. Of everything that could irk me, that irks me so bad. I hate that.
I mean, they're right behind Pride and Prejudice, so they're shooting up there.
One that I think might struggle a bit.
It's like Retribution. I can't remember anyone's name after Mike gives me their alternate universe name. I can't remember anyone's name anymore.
It's fun.
One that might struggle a bit is La Facción Ingobernable, Rouge, Dragon Lee, Kenny King, La Bestia del Ring. I don't know how they're gonna function without Ring of Honor. That was kind of where they were built as a team. Now, I expect most of them to be out in Mexico for the most part, but I'm not sure where Kenny King fits into that. So
can I go ahead and be honest about that one being so high and Chaos and STP not? That feels amazingly wrong because LFI had a lot of success. I'm not knocking their success with tag teams and groups and everything. LFI was built around Roosh and keeping him world champion. That's clearly what they were about.
Right.
STP and Chaos had mass momentum with their tag title runs. Yes, there were 6-man tag titles, but they were tag titles. And I thought, and I feel like that's a mass misrepresentation of the past year that all three teams just had. LFI was all about keeping Roosh champion. Chaos and STP were about the teams. It was specifically what they were built for. So I feel like the placement is leading. If you're reading this and you don't know the teams, you think LFI must have been this had a great year over those other two, and I would argue not really.
I see a couple teams that probably won't be on here next year, like AJ and Omos, because apparently they broke up. The Hurt Business, I heard, got fired again.
I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. I read the result.
I'm surprised they're on this list the way they kept breaking up and breaking
right.
up. So yeah. So
and that high on the list, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so confused by Hurt Business because again, it's like a toxic relationship. I was like, okay, are we broken up or are we together? What is going on here? I need to know what I'm doing with my life because I need you to explain this to me.
Yeah, that was just weird.
Foundation is another one. With Ring of Honor's breakup, they're kind of going their separate ways. Lethal and AEW, Gresham starting his own promotion. Red Titus and Tracy Williams are kind of left in limbo as it is. So it's tough to predict where those guys are going to go. So
I also have a feeling like what?
What? Oh, we're not at wrestling news yet.
Okay.
What just happened on NXT? Oh God!
We'll talk about it. So
I'm not sure, but I want to hear this. I do think apparently Alpha Academy, if they actually allow them to stay together, because apparently they just won tag titles, I read.
really, wow.
Yeah, Gable and no, I was going to say Tucker. That's what he says. Otis.
Otis, yeah.
So that might be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
JC, do you think Sting and Darby will have enough matches to get on this list? They're pretty much undefeated when they team.
They're undefeated when they team, but most of the time they're like in each other's corners or something like that,
Okay.
or like I don't. Nothing against them. I don't see them. I think it's more of like a student to teacher type of mentorship, but
Yeah.
I think they really. It's actually an interesting because you don't see this a lot in wrestling where you have a legend taking a younger guy under his wing, but they're not really. They're great as a tag team, yeah. But the point of this is really overall to make Darby a stronger singles wrestler.
Yeah.
You don't want to put him in with a tag team going for tag team championships. They don't need it. Sting is Sting. Darby's over as it is, and having Sting in his corner is really the point of it is to kind of elevate him a bit more so that he's challenging for the world championship. He's the next the guy to develop. So
Yeah.
but I don't think they would make the minimum 6 matches over 6 separate months, let alone that to
Well, I
have
mean,
serious
they do
consideration.
like they're gonna fight.
Claimed.
Huh?
Claimed.
There you go. The Acclaimed.
Mm-hmm. So
we'll see.
I mean, there's a chance, but I if they're on here, I don't expect them to be too high just because they're not like a full on serious tag team. So, but still, it would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool to see Sting appear not only in a PWI 500, as I'm sure he's done in his career, but also to reappear as part of the Tag Team 50, which was never around in his younger days. So I think that would be pretty historic. So, yeah. So if you're interested to see the list, it's out there. Check out pwi-online.com. Is there anything else you guys want to mention on the list before we move on, or?
No. I think we covered a lot of the big things, and I'm not gonna lie. There's some teams on here I have no ideas who they are, so
yeah.
can't really speak
There are some. There are a couple I'm familiar with. I just forgot that was their name.
There's a tennis tournament on here apparently at 45, so that's cool.
Yeah, Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark
I don't
Davis.
think Novak Djokovic is part of that team though.
No, he got deported.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah.
I think Aussie Open is now like it represents the United Empire in like Revolution Pro. I think.
Yes, they are. It's in here. They joined Will Ospreay's United Empire New Japan.
Nice.
Yeah, so they won the PWA Australia Tag titles and claimed the Rev Pro British Tag Team Championship from Destination Everywhere over the evaluation period. So, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yep. Well, yeah, check this issue out, pwi-online.com. You might find it on some newsstands everywhere, or you can easily just buy the digital copy online as well. Now, I mentioned earlier the blurb they had in here too about Exodus to AEW, and I thought I'd kind of share some of this with you guys if you're interested. So, here's some of the names they gave us, and you guys tell me if they thought they were better, worse, or about the same from where they were previously. First one is Adam Cole. Before he was in NXT, was his move to AEW better or worse for him?
Better.
I'd say better.
Yeah,
I mean, if we're talking about main roster, I don't know who I'm going to say worse about.
Yeah. They did say better, obviously. With his track record of properly using athletes of his size, AEW is the place for the master of the last shot. Plus, he gets to spend more time with Brent Baker. That's what they listed here. So, Brian,
and that's automatically better because I don't care who you are. That's automatically better. So,
Brian Danielson.
Better. Have you
Better.
seen his matches?
I know.
He's got.
I mean,
He's
look.
got to be better.
I understand that he was legit in a WrestleMania main event within this same year, and I'm still saying better because I've watched his matches and he's been allowed to wrestle.
And you can tell the fun he's having. You can
And
see it in his
he
face.
takes this perverse pleasure in making sure his chest is like beat red by the end of every match, and I kind of dig that about him.
It's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Verdict was better. They saying perhaps no one has benefited more from going to All Elite than Danielson, who's on the verge of the most miraculous comeback yet. So, Andrade El Idolo.
About the same to better.
About the same, yeah. Because I think injuries and travel problems like kind of stalled him. So I'd say about the same.
Yeah.
They have him as worse.
They were.
Despite making that early splash at press time, Andrade seemed just as overlooked on AEW's stacked roster as he was in WWE. So,
But that would seem the same. Okay.
yeah. The next couple should be pretty obvious. Christian Cage.
Better.
Yeah.
Like light years. They treat him as a legend.
Because he's being used.
Yeah.
And
And
they
see,
treat him as a legend, like he is.
Yeah.
Like
it's funny, before they have him listed as retirement, so obviously better. And another one they had listed as coming off retirement, CM Punk. So, yeah.
Yes.
I'd say worse for CM Punk. Yeah, he's clearly the worst one out of this whole group we just talked about.
Ruby Soho, better.
She's on here. Yes, better. She was one of the ones in here. John Moxley,
Better.
better.
Sorry guys, I gotta go worse because he clearly had like the worst past couple of years. Really, like
Whatever.
I saw someone saying, and again, look, I don't want to crap on WWE fans that are like, oh, but they were like, oh man, I missed Dean Ambrose. It was so much better then. I was like, did you watch that last year that he was in there?
No.
Doing those like getting shots because he was sick of the fans or something. Like he had a good run, but Moxley is just,
Yeah.
it's him.
I'll say this: Dean Ambrose wasn't bad. He wasn't, but John Moxley is fan-freaking-tastic because he's having fun, and also, I mean, I feel like healthier for him to be there because I feel like it would have been much harder for him to get out of WWE for his own personal rehab. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't let him out. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying like it would be much harder for him to take that break.
Yeah.
AEW has such, schedule is so light. He could be like, you know what? Yeah, I need some time off, guys. I got something going on. And it's like, yeah, cool. I mean, like, what did Tony Khan say? It's like it was hard for me to hear that he's going through that, but hey, his health is important. So yeah.
Yeah. They gave him the latitude for that too. And I would even argue that had it not been for Dean Ambrose, the Moxley name wouldn't be as big as it is now. Because
I would agree with that. Yeah.
It was a relatively independent star, relative unknown in wrestling, and then he made himself big as Dean Ambrose, and now Moxley's just been elevated so much,
Mm-hmm.
Lance Archer, before it was in New Japan, better or worse in AEW?
I think you would speak for it.
To me, I'll say better, and I think the only reason why it would you kind of don't think that's because of the injuries and stuff, but I would still say better.
Okay, Mike, did you have a guess or no?
About his New Japan stuff in general, but I know he never wins them, but he gets put in pretty big matches and title matches early on, especially. Like you said, if it wasn't for the injury, and now he's coming right back into a title picture again.
Hangman
attacking Adam Page last week, so.
And he did win the U.S. title when it came to him and Moxley that death match.
That's true.
Yeah. They have him as worse. Just after going solo in New Japan, Archer seemed on the verge of big things. Despite, or I guess they should say after going solo in AEW, despite the guidance of Jake Roberts, his AEW run thus far has made him a smaller fish in a bigger pond. So, that's their little blurb on him.
I guess that's a matter of opinion, honestly.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Most of these are, right? Malachi Black, should be obvious.
I think better.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially. Go ahead.
Promos alone are better.
I mean,
he's having a blast.
Mm-hmm.
He's not sitting in a room waiting for someone to knock on a door. And then when someone knocks on the door, they miss each other. Better.
No, I just thought of something.
What?
Does it feel like Malachi Black was the Matt Damon to WWE's Jimmy Kimmel tonight because he was just sitting in the green room every single night waiting for him to be on the show, and they were sorry they ran out of time.
Wow.
It's good
All right, that was
reference.
my favorite running joke in all of Hollywood, and I hope they continue until they are both gray and in a nursing home.
It's either him or it's what is it, Vishanki or Vahir? The guy who has been coming to Raw for like the past 3 months apparently.
That's never
Veer,
going to debut.
yeah,
Veer, yeah, there you go.
Apparently, they just ran that vignette again on Monday, and I was like, okay, either this guy is coming or he already left. Because
I love the memes where it's like, it's 2050. Roman Reigns is on his 45th championship run. Blah blah blah. Veer still coming to Raw.
And by that point, he'll have been released and rehired. They're still running the same vignettes, right? So
he's still coming to Raw.
yeah. Miro.
Better. Because they kept trying to kill his WWE run, even when Rusev Day was the biggest thing in WWE. It was a slow start in AEW, but my God, once he kind of broke away from Sabian and got into God's favorite champion or whatever,
The Redeemer.
took off.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think now he's just enjoying being married to CJ, which again, who could blame him?
Yeah.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah.
Honestly, if
They
he just retired from wrestling and did that all the time, again, who could blame him?
They said better as well. The last one coming from NWA, Thunder Rosa.
Better. Like,
I would say better to about the same, only because in NWA she wasn't treated like an afterthought either. They actually were pretty high on her. I think the only thing that stopped them from doing that was the hiatus because of COVID.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I don't think it's that they're not making her a big deal. She was the first one to really make Jade work in a match in that tournament.
Sure. Yeah.
And in fact, let's be honest, they kept Thunder Rosa looking strong by having Mercedes Martinez come out to hit her on the head in order to Cargill to get the win. I still think they're posing for that rematch with Britt Baker down the road, where Thunder Rosa might be the one to take it off her. Now, I know she was champ in NWA and she was kind of a big thing. I want to say better because it's a bigger platform for her, and I think she's getting more national recognition now overall. Like, she's on the obviously she's from San Antonio, but on that poster for AEW coming to town. So
their verdict right now is to be determined. It's almost a toss-up just because it's true. She's now exposed to greater viewership on a regular basis. She has yet to attain the same title glory she did in NWA, but we predict she'll have another shot at the gold before too long. So, Mike, it's almost like you could write for these guys, So, I mean,
probably could.
And my thing is, title glory to me is a thing. Overall, like, impact the wrestlers having. Like before Miro was TNT champion, just the fact that he was on that road to get to it was just like this. The brute he originally was. He was originally Rusev. Just to me stands out before he even won the belt.
Yeah. All right. Well, from Tag Team 50 and to evaluating how people have done since moving to AEW, PWI recently also put out their latest issue, which is their 2021 Achievement Awards. And it's right there on the cover, AEW Dominates. And these, if you're not aware, I'm sure you guys are, as a subscriber to PWI, you're allowed to vote on this. There's a form in there from the previous issue I showed you, and you have until a certain time to either mail your vote in or submit it online, sort of thing like that. So subscribers are allowed to put in their votes for the different categories, make some of their official, unofficial awards, which are pretty hilarious, kind of like the made-up things similar to what we do. So, but yeah, AEW dominated, and that's gotten the WWE diehards pissed off online. But
oh no!
When your subscribers are voting, what can you do, right? I mean, it's not like they chose it, People could write in votes.
The WWE diehards are mad. Oh no! It must be a day during the week.
So
it's a day that ends in Y.
Now, we're just kind of going through these a bit. Rookie of the Year, Jade Cargill. And now, I will note that some of the voting, there's no requirement that they have a majority of the votes. It's just basically whoever gets the most votes coming in. And she only got 35% of the vote compared to everybody else. The other top 3 that rounded out were Braun Breaker, Bad Bunny, and Brock Anderson. Those were the top 4 vote getters for Rookie of the Year.
Brock Anderson?
Yes.
He was a rookie like 30 years ago, wasn't he?
Put together.
So I was surprised a bit to see Bad Bunny on there, but I was like, well, he didn't do bad when you think about it. He just had one match though, so
he did. I was saying he didn't, but Jay was wrestling more than all of them combined.
Yeah.
Rob Baker's like in the last 5 months, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The only, I mean, I'm not even disputing that she deserves it by any means.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's always bothered me with Jade is, and it's a personal thing, is I don't like the monster gimmick where you just kind of squash everyone for a long time because it gets real repetitive. Which is why I'm happy that her last 2 matches in the TBS title tournament with Thunder Rosa and then Ruby Soho, there was really threats at many times that they could have beaten Jade. And so I'm glad they finally at least made her look like vulnerable for a little bit to really improve that. Because look, like she's a freak, like an impressive physical specimen, like jacked and athletic, and you know, and it's a rookie year, obviously. So obviously she's going to grow and get better. But I'm just glad they finally allowed her to have matches with back and forth more often than, you know, just squashing people like she was kind of doing for a long time.
All right. Most improved wrestler, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. 22% of the votes. The runners-up, Bobby Lashley, Trevor Murdoch, and Deonna Purrazzo as most improved. Tommy, you seem perplexed.
Bobby Lashley?
Yeah. I mean,
okay, I guess I didn't think he needed improvement, and okay.
I think it's really more just because he went on that run heading into WrestleMania.
Yeah, for a while, when you think about it, like he was just kind of stagnant, and then all of a sudden something just clicked. You know,
okay.
So
okay,
I would assume, same thing.
Yeah.
That was a weird name to see on there. Trevor Murdoch is fine, and who else?
Deonna Purrazzo.
Deonna Purrazzo.
Well, Deonna Purrazzo, I mean, to me, I guess she's always been good. She's got to show it.
Right.
Now,
I think that's part of it.
I guess. So I guess that's it. But I was like, Lashley, really? That he was even on that list? I never thought there was anything wrong with him that needed improving. So whatever. Yeah. I mean, okay.
No, but yeah, I'm down with Britt Baker, and I totally support her as replacing MGF as a 4th pillar.
So. The second I get another job and have extra money, I'm buying that shirt and I'm rocking it on this show, and no one's gonna stop me.
I actually bought it for a buddy of mine who used to be on ID softball team. One of the dads. So yeah, watch the show, John. I still got it, so whenever you're in town, I gotta get it too. Comeback of the year, CM Punk, 44% of the vote. Runners up were Sting, Christian Cage, and Becky Lynch. Now, Sting is noticeable on that because it's actually the second time he's been a runner-up for this award. The other time was in '98, and he's actually won Comeback of the Year 3 separate times. 2006, 2011, and 2014. Sting is a 3-time Comeback of the Year award winner of this thing. So,
there you go.
Which makes you wonder, had it not been for CM Punk, he might have won this again.
How many times have you left where you had to go?
I know. So,
well,
okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why that hit me as funny as it did.
Was 2006 when he debuted in TNA? Was that the first time he'd wrestled since WCW?
Yeah.
Was it that long?
That was that long. Yeah. That was really the first time he was back on TV. 2011. When was it? WWE was what?
Was it an injury? Yeah, the 2014 one was a WWE, so
2014 was WWE.
2011 must have been maybe an injury, or he was out.
Yeah, and 98 I think was coming off an injury with WCW.
Well, no, 98 was probably him coming out of the rafters to actually wrestle. No.
Yeah, that's what that was. But I mean, he had disappeared for so long off TV and then came back. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
Comeback of the year 3 separate times.
Yeah, and runner up twice. So yeah, pretty crazy, huh?
He's been up for this award 5 times.
The only award he would win more is if there was an award for being turned on by people you thought were your friends.
Oh, facts, bro.
You might, if that happens again this year, we might have to submit that for next year's
If Darby turns on Steve.
unofficial official awards. Yeah. So, inspirational wrestler of the year, Edge, 24%.
Yeah.
Runners up were Bianca Belair, Big E, and Mickey James. So
Okay.
yeah, very cool.
I couldn't fault any of those.
Interesting to note, Rok-C got some votes as well on this category as well. So
Really? Good for her.
Yeah.
She deserves that. But
Edge
I would
came
put
back
Vicky up
at the
there, but-
2020 Rumble, right? It wasn't 2021. It was 2 years ago,
2020,
right?
they still have
2020.
fans.
Went
And then
out.
last year was Christian. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then went out with I think he had a few more injuries, but then he came back and
Yeah,
getting back into the WrestleMania spot.
He had a couple.
Right.
He had a couple injuries during the greatest match in WrestleMania, or greatest match ever.
Probably when they were putting the camera underneath a headlock and he landed on it.
Wow.
I don't think that was still ever a thing. Jeez.
Yeah. All right. Most popular wrestler of the year, CM Punk, 25%.
I'm not going to argue that was one of those shows, that Rampage, that just give me goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
Like watching theater reactions to Endgame or No Way Home now.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I watch the clip, I just get goosebumps.
Just
Or like
crazy.
Edge's Return, another legit one.
Yeah.
It's the crowd noise when the personality started.
Yeah.
That just destroyed all microphones in that building. Like, I'm surprised the commentators. I'm surprised their mics worked as loud as that crowd was.
I'm pretty sure they picked it up as seismic activity. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to. There's no way it didn't register at least a 1.2. Like, it had to, because that building was ridiculous. Fully so. I am not at all saying that when his music hits here, I'm in that building, I won't have a voice the next day. I'm not at all saying that. I'm just saying that the day it happened there.
Yeah. I'm looking forward mostly to seeing him back in the ring too. So, runners up with this are Adam Page, Big E, and Bianca Belair for popular wrestler of the year. So,
yeah.
this one should be obvious to everybody. Most hated wrestler of the year.
I hope he's first, second, third, and fourth.
MJF was 44% of the vote.
I hope each of his initials are second, third, and fourth.
And he would love that. He would.
I hope his scarf is second, his ring is no.
The best part is him proudly posing with the award here too.
Of course he is, because he's a dick.
Runners up: Roman Reigns, Kenny Omega, and Baron Corbin. So,
Poor Corbin.
yeah.
You know what? At this point, I almost want to love Corbin simply because everyone else craps on him so much.
Exactly.
I want to like do the opposite hipster thing, because at this point, to me, I feel like he's a guy who's just trying to stay employed, and I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. WWE's not my favorite wrestling to watch anymore, but that guy's just trying to keep a job, and I have no problem with a man trying to keep his job. Good for him.
Funny, they list on here some of the other top vote getters who didn't get a runner-up spot were Charlotte Flair, Eva Marie, and the Young Bucks. So,
Oh God, she came back to wrestling for part of this year.
I know she came back part of the year. She still got some votes.
So I was gonna say that we'll see that's where the list is wrong. It said most hated wrestler. Why was Eva Marie even a vote?
Got him.
It's true. She should have qualified. Yeah, that's technicality.
She was a manager most of the year. She
True.
wrestled like exactly about the time that was like less. No, she didn't wrestle that long. She was like. No, like 30 seconds.
I have. Why isn't WWE booking number one on this list? Out. I think WWE booking should be outdoing MJF.
You know, it's funny. I'm gonna say something like that. The next category is feud of the year, and it should have been WWE versus the fans. You know, WWE booking versus the fans. But
that's you would love
WWE versus gainful employment.
right.
Versus honoring their contract. You want to talk about long-term booking?
Yeah,
there it is.
Feud of the year was Chris Jericho versus MJF, 34% of the vote. Runners up: Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa, and Edge versus Roman Reigns. So
I've been partial to Bianca, so she would have probably won a lot of these awards had I been the sole one casting the vote. Hey, I fully admit this. I don't even remotely care. And is it partially racial? And is it partially racial bias towards my sister? Yes, that's exactly what it is, and I am not ashamed of this. But I don't know. I love the drama of the Sasha and Bianca feud going into Mania and what it ended up culminating as. Main event WrestleMania. I don't care what anyone says about it was just night one. No, it was the main event of night one. So get over it. You're just mad that two black girls main evented WrestleMania and you can't stand it. But get over it. Who cares?
Independent Wrestler of the Year, Nick Gage, 42% of the vote.
Sure.
Runners up, Trish Adora, Tony Deppen, and Effie. But yeah,
Trish Adora is amazing, and I do love her. But Nick Gage absolutely was killing it all of last year. I mean, guy had no contract. It was still like the main event of Dynamite. So I'm sorry, and got to do a death match like on network television. That's insane to me.
That's sponsored by Domino. Oh wait.
I will forever say they should have ran with that like nobody's business. I don't remotely care who didn't like it. They should have ran with that.
I really hope Nick Gage is coming out with like Domino's t-shirts in the future after that too. So
Domino's theme.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Match of the year, Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa back on March 17th. I believe this was an episode of Dynamite. I think it main evented the show too, if I'm not mistaken.
It was the lights out, but it was the main event.
Yeah.
How did these gory women's matches get match of the year? I don't know why people want to watch gory matches with women in them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Terry says main event night 4 of a buy one get one free extravaganza. Yes, that's a joke. So great.
Oh, that's a classic, man. That's gonna live for a long time.
That is forever gonna live that way.
That was so good.
Fix my camera here. Give me a second, guys. Let's go. Focus.
It doesn't want to focus on MJF's face.
That's right.
Yeah. I was gonna say, a friend of mine, Jeremiah Wilkerson, he works with Mission Pro Wrestling and is super close with Thunder Rosa and her family. He actually was at their house and he took a picture with the plaque that she got for that. And I just looked at it. I was like, just to like be the presence of one of those must have been awesome.
Some runners up here. Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros. This was the cage match from All Out.
Yes.
Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. Night 1 of WrestleMania. My personal
100%.
pick for match of the year. I'm sorry?
It was really good. I was gonna say it was really good. That
Yeah.
Sasha and Bianca. I was like the one. Those are the few things I gave WWE the last year was that feud and how it ended.
And the other runner-up was Walter versus Ilja Dragunov. This was part of NXT TakeOver 36.
I think that one might have snuck in for me. Mm-hmm. That was a hell of a match.
Yeah.
And I love the story that was being told with it. I mean, all of these, I got no problem with any of them winning.
Yeah, a lot of some of the other ones that got votes, Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan at the time, WrestleMania. Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson. Kenny Omega versus Rey Fenix. Edge versus Seth Rollins. And Okada versus Ospreay back on Wrestle Kingdom from last year. So, pretty cool. Faction of the year, the Inner Circle, 29%. Runners-up were the Elite, the Bloodline, and Bullet Club.
I think I actually would have given it to the Bloodline. I feel like Inner Circle faded pretty about halfway through the year. They kind of stopped teaming on it. It was weird. Like after the Blood and Guts stuff, they kind of like went their separate ways for a while, and then it's almost like they had a reunion when they never officially broke up. I think the Bloodline was just pretty like at the top the whole year.
Just for protecting Roman, yeah. This, by the way, is a brand new award for their Achievement Awards. This is something the fans voted as a new award. So, Faction of the Year is something brand new to the Achievement Awards for PWI.
AEW.
So, yeah. So, and it seems like factions are the way of the future right now too. I mean, New Japan's had them for a while, but AEW's picked that up. Impact to a lesser extent. So, Tag Team of the Year, Young Bucks. First runner-up, Lucha Bros, 1 and 2 on the Tag Team 50 that we just talked about. The Usos and then New Day were the other runners-up for this as well. So, kind of hard to argue that, But
yeah, I think I'm just biased because Lucha Bros are Hispanic. But...
biased because I lived in San Antonio all my life, so
yeah. Women of the Year, Britt Baker, 31%. Bianca Belair, Mickie James, and Deonna Purrazzo were the top runner-ups.
If WWE did not mess up Bianca after WrestleMania, and well, not completely, because she had the thing with Bayley, but really cooled off her momentum after that. I mean, I have no problem with Britt Baker. She has really just taken off this year. But I feel like it was so easy for it to have been Bianca's, and WWE just went WWE.
It was a big missed opportunity, very much so, especially with all the momentum she had after Mania. They really missed out on that, and Baker just had an insane year. And I think when we did our own awards, I had Deonna Purrazzo as the female wrestler of the year, just because she dominated so much of it. Terry says, mentioning the Inner Circle, I said after Stadium Stampede, they were pretty much working themselves. Yeah. So,
agreed.
Wrestler of the year, Kenny Omega, 37% of the votes. Roman Reigns, Bianca Belair, and Big E were the top runner-ups in this category. So,
I feel like. Oh,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like Kenny Omega kind of deserves that only because you found out he was working most of those matches in a lot of pain and like just kind of injured. I feel like on that alone. And yeah, maybe that's a little unfair, but I don't think so. Especially since it was known he was working through all that pain and still putting on those matches. Nah, give the man his flowers.
Yeah, and then on top of that, he went and did stuff in AEW and
Impact,
AAA.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Impact. He went over to Impact. Is what I meant.
And AAA as well. I mean, he was working everywhere, hurt, and in the pandemic, that's pretty difficult. So, I could argue he was the hardest working wrestler of the year, going everywhere where he was. So the final awards they handed out, Stanley Weston Awards for Lifetime Achievement. This is their, not picked by the readers, something the writers come up with, but Ron Simmons and Terry Funk. Huh?
Ron Simmons?
Ron Simmons, yeah.
Okay. There was a little typo. That's why I was a little confused.
Yes,
it's okay.
Ron Simmons.
Okay, that makes sense.
Farouk,
sure.
And Terry Funk were the winners of the Lifetime Achievement Awards, the Stanley Weston Awards. So a big congrats to them. When they interviewed Ron Simmons about it, he just said,
"Damn."
No, he said, "I treated people with respect and never had an enemy. I wouldn't have entered the conversation for this recognition if I hadn't carried myself the right way. I'm honored to accept this award because it means a lot at this point in my life." So,
awesome.
The dude does not look 63. I'm sorry, he really does not. He still looks like he can wrestle.
I met him at a convention. It was the same day I met. I think China was there.
Mm-hmm.
He was there. He was at an APA table with him and Bradshaw. I fangirled 100%, and he was so nice about it. But I fully admit this. I fangirled in front of Ron Simmons because he was so cool. He was so nice about it. Just that real deep voice. Oh man, thank you. I appreciate all that you said. And I was like, oh, okay, wow. He sounds like my dad, but awesome. And I feel like him and my dad could have an arm wrestling contest. Him, former football player, my dad, a former Marine, and they end up just like talking about stuff that they've been through in their lives and forget the arm wrestling contest midway through.
Did Bradshaw try to haze you or anything?
No.
Allegedly.
Ron was still sitting there. Only because Ron was still sitting there. I feel like if it was just been me and him, then yeah, I would have been hazed.
Something to note about Simmons, on August 2nd of this year, it'll be the 30th anniversary of when he beat Big Van Vader to win the WCW title and became the first African American to be widely recognized as World Heavyweight Champion. So,
nice.
August 2nd, 2022.
I still remember watching that.
30th anniversary, yeah. So
I remember I have tracked that clip down like 8 different times, and like my favorite part of it is like, I don't know if you guys remember there's these 2 black guys that come running towards the front row when he gets the pin, and like the one dude, he's so happy his vertical cleared the barricade. He was so excited. I was like, yeah, that would have been me had I been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those were the main achievement awards. Now, they also have the unofficial official awards, and if you're familiar with PWI, these are the ones fans submit. They're just for fun. Some of these are pretty hilarious, like Man Bun of the Year, Brock Lesnar.
Runner-up,
yeah,
Bryan Danielson.
WWE's loss, AEW's gain, Adam Cole. That team pretty have all the moves.
That one,
yeah. Let's see here. The best nighttime talk show. Bailey for Ding Dong Hello.
Yes.
Yes. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
No argument at all.
Here's an interesting one. Manager of the year.
Eva Marie.
Vicky Guerrero.
God no.
I mean, these are fans admitted, obviously. But
Yeah. I was like, there's not a lot of managers. I mean, she wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still giving it to Heyman.
Because he's an advocate / what is he for Reigns? I don't know.
I don't even know.
He's not an advocate. He's something else. He never uses the word manager. I think that's part of it.
The hot tub time machine match. Chris Jericho versus Juventud Guerrero.
They both probably needed a hot tub after that too.
Now I'm interested to know New Japan Wrestler of the Year. I'm curious to know who Tommy's take on this would be.
You know what my take is.
Let's see. Past year.
I'm just going to tell you now, Tommy, you mispronounced Jeff Cobb.
I didn't even talk yet. You are. It's got to be Shingo Takagi.
Shingo Takagi, yeah, that's who the guy submitted the vote for. So
yeah. And the reason I say that is because it feels like after Ospreay got injured and Coda got injured or whatever and everything, they gave him the ball and he ran with it. He was putting on banger matches with everyone who they put in front of him. So, because Shingo was doing that back in Dragon Gate, so it's not shocking that he can do it. It was just good to see him do it in a New Japan ring, is all.
Yeah.
You know who took the ball and ran through the G1?
Jeff Cobb.
Until Roman Reigns Okada had to be book strong.
Both of you make me sick.
Terry says Special Counsel of the Tribal Chief. That was what Roman.
There you go, Special Counsel.
That's what it was. Yeah.
See, he never wins Manager of the Year anymore because he never calls himself manager.
No, he never does. The Hurts to Admit It Was Good award. WWE Crown Jewel 2021.
Oh,
I can't lie. It was actually
you know what? I gotta give it to him. That does hurt to admit. It really.
I actually don't have to because I never watched it. So.
Yeah.
I watched the whole thing. I saw clips, and I was like, actually, this doesn't look like the worst show they've ever had.
I thought this was a cool one to submit. The Nod of Acceptance Award, and it goes to David Arquette for showing true love and devotion to the arts. I thought that was pretty cool. So
I feel like David Arquette made up for everything that happened almost literally 20 years, like just over 20 years ago with that mess, because he's like been willingly getting himself beat up by wrestlers on the indie scene of all places, and I feel like he gets a pass now.
I would like to nominate the Using My Body as a Projectile Weapon Award to Darby Allin for his insane use of yeet into people.
What is insane use of yeet? That's good. That needs to be a shirt.
Best hair, Jungle Boy.
Cesaro.
The Real Rookie of the Year, Pat McAfee joining the SmackDown broadcast team.
Okay. I can see that.
He's fun.
Yeah. Jim Cornette's favorite wrestler is a tie between Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. I thought that was hilarious. Somebody actually submitted that. Now, here's a fun one. Well, here's a couple of Are You Crazy moment. Moose winning the Impact World Championship.
I think you had a better name for that than Are You Crazy?
Yeah. Taylor Swift's Love Story Award. Who do you guys think this went to?
Taylor Swift's
Love Story.
What couple thing was there going on?
I don't know. A couple of years ago, it would have been Otis and Mandy, but that's been long since over, so it's not them.
If y'all don't get this, y'all are going to kick yourselves.
Okay, hold on. Now
okay, wait.
Now there's pressure.
Now said that.
Bailey and Cesaro, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. It's not like Adam Cole and Britt Baker, right?
No.
Okay, I was.
It's I feel like now that you said that, I do know who it is, but I can't think of it. Who is it?
Just tell us.
Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell.
Oh, of course!
Running of the century.
Oh,
Jesus Christ! That was my favorite part of the end of NXT 1.0.
You know,
I knew I was forgetting something.
I think I keep forgetting what happens this year.
And
what last year.
I want to knock on wood and don't tell Vince because he's going to ruin it. They're still married in kayfabe.
I know.
They
I
haven't
hope they
ruined
stay
it
that.
yet.
You know what? If they both get released together, I hope they keep that going up on the Independents or wherever the hell they
Oh
go.
my god. Even better,
That would be
like
amazing.
Yes.
if they just kept it like in storyline, no matter where they go in WWE. I mean, even if they stayed in WWE, like that would be great.
That would be so amazing too. Yeah. So, let's see here. Wait, that title still exists. Award goes to the WWE Intercontinental Championship.
Hold on. Name who the Intercontinental Champion is right now.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, okay, wow.
I mean, I think Vacant has been put on Twitter. Hey, he hasn't defended this in November. I should be declared champion right now. So, let's see. New drinking game. The best new drinking game goes to every time they say the S word on AEW Dynamite.
Oh, the Kentucky,
Man, they brought that to the ground, bro.
Yeah.
the Kentucky gentleman's real upset about that.
Let's see. Is there any other fun ones here? Let's see. The unwanted comeback of the year, and I'll leave it at that one.
Eva Marie.
No,
Oh,
surprisingly.
the unwanted comeback.
The unwanted comeback of the year.
Came back and we didn't want. Did Goldberg come back this year?
Yeah, Goldberg. That's the one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
So, those are always fun, guys. So, yeah. Check that issue out again. PWI-online. Find a digital copy. Get yourself order yourself a print if you're old school like me. Just like having a little bit in front of you. So,
Yeah.
all right. A little bit of wrestling news, and I did kind of tease this last week. I kind of left you guys off on the show talking about a title match that was going to happen on Impact that aired last Thursday. By now, I'm sure everybody knows Deonna Purrazzo and Rok-C main evented Impact last Thursday, and Deonna Purrazzo defeated Rok-C to win the Ring of Honor Women's Championship.
Wow.
Hell of a match, amazing. The outpouring of support for everyone involved. For Deonna and Rok-C being main eventing Impact, especially an Impact right after a pay-per-view. Like, those are the big ones. Gail for getting that set up, of course. And Rok-C at 20 years old to be main eventing is pretty amazing. Making her Impact Wrestling debut and doing that as well. Dropped the title, but I think I mentioned talking about where she could potentially, who the loser of that match is, what the future might hold for them. And some news things have dropped today, but dang it, I was hoping to try and beat that. But I was saying in my gut, I have a very strong feeling that Rok-C will be signing with WWE pretty soon. The contract's up with Ring of Honor. She's finishing some dates. I know she's set to debut with MLW when they go to Dallas very soon. Don't know how long that's going to last, but she did recently have a tryout with WWE. And this has been a pretty big deal. A lot of people they had on that tryout. Obviously, they don't want too young a talent, but when you have the experience that she has and the background that she has and the people that trained her and the notoriety she has, it's going to be hard to pass that up. So if WWE is the road she goes to, good luck to her. I just really hope they use her right because you have an amazing young talent there. Please don't destroy what she's been building up because she's done this all herself with the support of her family. And to see a homegrown Texas talent, Laredo talent, which, by the way, Tina just got her shirt in the mail, and it has 01 on there, realizing, is that the year she graduated? No, that's the year she was born. And like, man, I feel old. So, guys, thoughts on Rok-C potentially being signed pretty soon to WWE when she finishes up whatever date she's booked on. So,
At least she'll get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about all I can say at this point. At least she'll get paid because I don't trust them with her at all. I really don't.
I mean, it's experience. I'm sure when they change her name, she becomes a flamenco dancer or some sort of racially stereotyped luchador. It'll be cool. She'll be out of there probably by the time she's 24, 25, maybe sooner. She'll be right in her prime.
She can go to Japan and go to Europe and everything.
But hey, I hope it works out for her. Yeah, I mean, I know they have what's her name, Cora Jade, who is like in a very similar position. I think she just turned 21, and she was on that War Games team with like, let's just get all the face women we have together to
Yeah.
face Toxic Attraction.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So there are a couple young people, and for what it's worth, WWE. So I joke about it, but NXT 2.0, which you assume that's where they would start, is all about making wrestling personalities again and characters. So I don't know if Flamenco Dancer is all that far off as a
I
possibility.
don't know what kind of crazy gimmick they would give her if that's where she signs, but I think the biggest thing they're going to want to work with her on is her promo work.
Well, sure.
We haven't seen a whole lot of that from her where she's been. Ring of Honor, she didn't get a whole lot of time with it too, and even in the build up to the match with Deonna Purrazzo, outside of her standing ringside during a pay per view, there wasn't a whole lot built to that. So I think that's one thing that they will definitely help her improve on is wrestling for the camera, working on promos, things like that. That's where she's going to get a lot of good experience too. But yeah, I hope that they keep what she's established for herself in wrestling.
Might make her like a trolla and all her promos like.
Just don't go with the stereotypes. I mean, you have a talented she's called the prodigy for a reason, right? I mean, you got
Look,
some special.
I know we all feel that way, but we're talking about WWE, and Tommy said it right off the bat. I don't trust.
You say don't go with this. I say you don't go with the stereotypes, but tonight on NXT 2.0, don't go with the stereotypes. You say. The disappointment you're about to feel when I get through. You'll see.
Yeah. It should be noted though, I believe she speaks perfect Spanish, so it's you have a lot of talent when you back on the road again. If you're going to places like Mexico, especially.
Oh my god! I just had a thought.
What?
Do you think they could replace her as Aaliyah Mysterio and no one would notice? Because that seems like something that they would try to do, since she can actually wrestle.
Well,
I don't know. Ray would go for that, but
Top Ray would go for that. So, let's see here. Terry, at this point, why would anyone want to go to the E? They are signing college athletes to train them their way. Yeah, that is true. They do the NIL deal. They've made it known this is what they want to do. They just want to bring in athletes and do it their way. But for a lot of people that have grown up on wrestling, Rok-C one of them, this is a dream of theirs. So now I'm hopeful. She I'm hopeful if this is where she goes, she has a great career with it too, and they don't waste the talent that they do have.
Oh, sorry.
But that's wishful thinking too. So if that is where she goes, best of luck. Another bit of news to report out too: Elimination Chamber will not be taking place on North American soil this year. It's been confirmed by WWE that it will take place in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on February 19th. So when it airs here, that is a Saturday, we'll basically be getting to watch the Chamber at about 11 a.m. noon our time. So live from Saudi Arabia. Dave Meltzer jokingly, or I don't know if he was serious about this, but he thought they might be changing the name to WrestleMania Chamber. That didn't work out so well. It's still Elimination Chamber as of right now, but
it's WrestleMania Backlash Chamber.
So
why do y'all hate me? Is the question I must pose whenever y'all do that to me. Just why do y'all hate me? Why?
I do. Okay, I totally stole this from Twitter, but I heard there was a debate as to which gimmick match was going to make it. Mm-hmm. So it was between this and Blood Money in the Bank, and apparently Elimination Chamber got the nod. But
well, thank God.
Blood Money in the Bank was close second.
Money in the Bank being in Vegas makes more sense anyway. So that's where that's going to be July 2nd. So
yeah, I don't know. That's mobster Money in the Bank. That's
yeah. Actually, you know what? Yep.
Yeah, so this will be on a Saturday. Kind of cool to actually be able to watch this on a Saturday during the day. Not have to worry about seeing it at night. And not worried about anyone's plane getting stuck over there so they can make it back in time for a SmackDown or Raw. We hope.
Don't jinx it yet.
No, so... was there any other bit of news you guys want to highlight wrestling-wise? So those are the two main things that I had.
Not really.
I I have two that showed up tonight on NXT.
Go for it.
I sent you guys the picture of Sarai doing this Japanese schoolgirl gimmick. It's so bad. I hate it immediately. That's what I said in the message I sent them. I hate it immediately. It hasn't even come on TV yet. Do not like it.
Sorry. This is not wrestling related, so finish your thought and then I'm going to jump in.
Okay.
But also, Walter has a name change.
What?
Now,
Walter?
Yeah. Walter. They changed his name.
To what?
What is it?
You're never going to believe it when I tell you what the name is and where it comes from. It's Gunther Stark. If you don't know, I just found this out. I just found out when I read it. Apparently, that was the name of a Nazi general.
Yeah, Cultaholic had reported that they had applied for this. Was that actually said on NXT?
Yes. He announced his name as Gunther now. He announced it.
That's a legit name of a Nazi general.
That's the legit name.
Yeah, because Cultaholic reported that they had applied for this to what do you call it? Not the patent, trademark. And they brought this up and they thought they were like, oh, maybe Zoe Stark is going to get some sort of relative, but that's a dumb name. Wow. So going back a couple of stories, good luck, Rok-C. If you sign there, we wish you the best, but you might have to be like Pablo Escobar or you might be the name of some. Anyways, that happened.
Wrestle under a mask, Chica. For the love of God, just don't do that to yourself anymore. Just don't do it.
Look, I don't know if they're just going to shorten this and just start calling him Gunther and maybe drop the Stark to say, hey, it's not Nazi general, but I get it. You're coming up with names, but do some fucking due diligence, okay? Especially a day after Martin Luther King Day, for crying out loud, is when you're debuting this. And we all know the Nazis weren't exactly nice to people of color, let alone
there were not fine people on both sides. Just want to point that out.
Yeah. Look,
stop saying that's what I said.
Walter, if you're watching this, just ask for your fucking release, okay? You're just gonna be branded a Nazi at this point. Like,
1 minute warning time.
I might as well. Yeah, let's just jump right into it. Yeah, that's actually a really good transition here. God, why did this happen? Why? Mike, you want to go first?
Sure.
All right. Whenever you're ready, set, and go.
So what I would actually want to talk about was obviously with Mickie James coming into the Rumble, then there was a report of WWE being open to a Forbidden Door entrant into the Men's Royal Rumble, and then everyone went crazy and threw every name that's anybody in any other promotion out. And I want to pump the brakes a little bit because first of all, they said they were open to it. And one thing in particular, I saw a bunch of people mentioning some AEW names. And I've got to be honest, and we kind of talked about this briefly, outside of Jericho, it makes no sense for any former WWE wrestler to go back to the Rumble. Because most of them were either released or they let their contracts run out because they were not happy there. Why on earth would you go back to be a part of that? There's no point to a Moxley, to an Andrade, to a Bryan Danielson. I know he left on good terms, but WWE clearly sees AEW as competition right now. There's no reason for them. Jericho's a little bit different because he just he's that veteran. And even then, I know there was talk about Moose because Moose was talking about wanting to face Roman Reigns.
Yeah, so.
But Impact doesn't have the best record with getting the better end of forbidden deals either. So, I don't know. I think people need to pump the brakes a little bit. I definitely don't think it's going to be AEW guy. And I don't even know if it's going to be. If anybody, it's going to be some wrestlers that are either kind of older, like a lot of the women that are coming in, maybe like a minor comeback, or not at all. I think it went a little bit crazy on social media, like it does.
What if it was Okada?
You mean
How?
Samurai Warrior? Something with.
I'm just saying.
I don't like this show. I really don't.
I'm just saying. What if it was him making a Rumble appearance? No big deal, I'm not
If
saying
it was just
bad.
a Rumble appearance, sure. He didn't do well when he was in Impact, so he sure as hell would not do well in WWE.
Yeah, but that was under Dixie Carter. We know how that happened. So
This is
No,
under
but-
Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
But as bad as Dixie is, I that doesn't give Vince a pass.
Mm-hmm. True.
It does not.
All right, Tommy. You got a 1 minute warning this week?
Sure, I got something.
Okay. Ready, set, and go.
Okay, this is to ROH because apparently they are going to come back in April in Dallas, which I'm all for. Bring back Shane Taylor Promotions, specifically Shane Taylor. Don't do this. Don't hide behind new contracts, blah blah blah. When that was one of the most over things that you had going. How do I know it's over? Fans made it over. I posted a picture of Shane Taylor with the custom belt he made, and that is the most liked and shared tweet I have ever posted ever. It has like 100. It's saying like 100 likes and like 18 retweets, including Shane Taylor himself. So don't hide behind this new contract thing as an excuse to not bring them back, which is what I'm afraid they're exactly going to do. So.
All right. Let me just let this timer run out here because I kind of got started on mine because honestly, going into this, I really had no plans at all whatsoever about speaking on anything. But Jesus Christ, if you're gonna pick names or do any sort of gimmick with as much money as you have, can you please at least pay somebody to do a Google search to make sure there's nothing controversial tied to a name? I know when they filed the trademark, that seemed to blow up. Like, what is this name? And a quick Google search will pull up. I mean, I just searched it on Twitter. Lo and behold, right next to Walter's face, I see a picture of a Nazi general. Wow. Guys, WWE, Vince McMahon, and Lorna, anybody who's in creative listening to this, do your damn research. It's not that hard. You can't make an excuses. Oh, we can't pay someone to go to the library. You have the internet at your fucking fingertips, okay? Come on, guys. It's bad enough that some other major sports organizations out there are horrible when it comes to hiring black coaches, black general managers, or even how they deal with black athletes. NFL, join me on Sports Minorities. I got something to say to you guys about that. But you guys make such a big deal at WWE every year. And I know this because 4 years ago, I was at the Martin Luther King Raw. How you always do such a vignette. It's always such a powerful thing. But you go and give a guy with an established name like Walter, you need to change his name. So you give him a name of a Nazi general. Please. You can be better. It's not that hard, okay? We all know how horrible the Nazis were. And just be honest with you, if you give him that name, he's not going to be allowed to wrestle in Germany, which is where he's already big. They have strict laws there about anything related to the Nazis. So leave the name at Walter. It's easier. It's cleaner. He's already established himself that way. Stop trying to reinvent the fucking wheel. If something works, stick with it. Otherwise, you run into issues where you're just making more controversy for yourself. It doesn't need to happen. I'm just annoyed that I have to tell a billion-dollar corporation to do a Google search before you decide on a name or file a trademark. It just makes
The submissions are already.
Yeah. I guess so.
Man, I was gonna bring that up. Damn it!
Sorry.
Like, come on. Are you kidding me?
You know what? I feel like it's two things to me. It's like, one, I did the research like you said, and two, it's like people will say, "Well, it's just a name. Who cares?" But I'm like, yeah, but if they had a white wrestler named Jim Crow, I would have an issue with that immediately.
You know what? I'll say this. If you guys don't know, I'm on a sports related podcast, Sports Minorities, and recently the Washington football team announced that they were going to have a new mascot. Obviously they dropped their previously racist mascot, the Redskins they had for so long, so much controversy on that. And we said, if we were naming the team, what would it be?
Oh no!
I invite you to go and listen to that episode. It was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, but I don't see any uproar about it if we're making fun of, I don't know, we're called the Washington Caucasians or the Washington controversy. There's so many different ways you can go with that. But yeah, it's not so nice when it's making fun of your ethnicity, is it? So why are you having an issue with them? So yeah.
Why? What was wrong with Walter? Does everyone at WWE Creative think no one watched the NXT UK?
Apparently.
I don't think most of them know they had NXT UK. I am going to recommend something to you and to anyone who's watching or watching this later. Mm-hmm. As y'all know, I've mentioned them a lot of times. I am a big fan of Cultaholic. Mm-hmm. They're out of England. They do a podcast every Friday. It comes out about 2-3 p.m. our time. The host of that is Matthew Gregg, who is the Botchamania guy. He's the guy who's done Botchamania for years. Mm-hmm. He is a Walter stan.
Oh,
like anytime they talk about wrestlers of the year match, it's Walter for him. I cannot wait to watch this thing on Friday and see his head explode and see him lose it. Because dear God, I'm waiting for him to pop up on Twitter. I think they're just waking up over there right now. But
what time is their show? Because I might try and watch that on Friday.
It's not live. It's like taped usually either Thursday night or Friday morning their time. It comes out about 2 or 3 Friday afternoon our time.
Okay.
So just follow Cultaholic and it pops up in your YouTube feed. It's always the way for like 2 years now. It's the way I end my weekends or end my week, my way home listening to it. It's really good. But yeah, I cannot wait to see his reaction to this.
I already feel his pain.
He's going to be after that name change too. Yeah, yeah. He might go and slap Vince McMahon in person at this point.
I hope so.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining us. We do appreciate it. If you have anything you want to say about the PWI Tag Team 50, the 2021 Achievement Awards, or even what we just talked about in our 1 minute warning about name changes, elimination chambers, being in Saudi Arabia, and Rok-C potentially signing with WWE, let us know. You can comment here, tweet at us at @CCG_WrestleCast. Next week, we will be talking about the WWE Royal Rumble. And I know not a lot of people, at least us in our particularly, are too interested in anything WWE does. But this pay-per-view does have some promise. We're finally getting Lesnar versus Lashley. And the announcement of Mickie James being a part of the Women's Rumble and every other anticipation with it. Regardless of what you think of WWE, it is personally one of my favorite one of my favorite events of the year in wrestling.
Premium events or whatever they're called now?
I guess. I don't know. I'm still calling them pay-per-views. If nothing else, just for the fact that we can do a number draw. So, but I am also a little bit excited too that this year it's going to be on Saturday. Smart for them to move that so they're not competing directly with Conference Championship Weekend in the NFL, which would be stupid on their part. But I do appreciate Saturday pay-per-views a lot more as well because it's Saturday. I can watch it, not have to worry about being up late. The kids can stay up if they want to see it too, and it'll be a good time as well. So anyway,
I was looking at the chat. I just saw from Terry. He got me this. If you guys can see it, it's a Americana from 05. It's a Japanese magazine that talks about American wrestling. He got it. He gave it to me as a gift. And I meant to bring it up earlier and forgot. But yeah, just shout out to him for this. It's in Japanese. I can't read it all yet. I'll figure it out. But it's from 05.
Friend. Yeah. So
it's from 05, one of the better WWE years in my opinion. That's when Cena and Batista were taking off. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Also, before we go, is a sneak peek for your Sports Minority show coming up. The Spurs are involved in a 3-way trade and have gotten rid of Bryn Forbes. So
Forbes,
there
really?
you go.
I really thought Pirtle was going to be going on the block. I know Toronto was interested.
Well, it's just starting, but
yeah. I expect the Spurs to be sellers, and that's fine. You know, they're still in a rebuilding phase too, so I think their priority right now.
Oh, there goes our defense. Forbes. I don't know what's going to happen now.
They beat the fucking Clippers in there. I don't give a shit. Anytime they can beat Kawhi, I'm good. Whether he's on the court or not.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
That being said, yes, this is the year, people. Titans, let's go. Let's go. Saturday, take out the
Oh,
Bucks.
yeah.
Let's do
Well,
this.
my team's out, so I got nothing to say.
Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. We do appreciate it. Over here, we got Tommy.
Thanks, everybody.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC. And as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real. People
are
fake.
fake.
We'll see you next week to talk Rumble. Laters.
Adios, Blizzard.